गोपीजना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपीजना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Madhav Jaya Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav Jaya Radha Madhav. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaur Hari Bol. कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, अनंतराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्याम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Welcome all of you to Sarjapur, ISKCON Outpost Center of Sri Seshadripuram SJM Temple. And I remember coming here probably a couple of times many years ago. Oh, they can't hear, they are saying. Where is the amplifier? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Is it all right now? Okay. So I came many years ago here. In the afternoon time I came, I believe, right? Yeah. I met the owner of this place also. And I think it was at that stage, the budding stage of this center. And Raja Krishna Prabhu had brought me here. And very happy to see that all of you are flooding this place now. Not flooding, we are over flooding. This is a very good sign. So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is always a over flooding moment. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah. So, Raja Krishna Prabhu is a very, very brilliant preacher. He just came with a handful of devotees when he came to LJM. Now I heard there are more than close to 100 boys chanting 16 rounds. And also, many of you congregation devotees here, you may be from different parts of the country. And Bangalore is a very good place to come to work in IT companies here. So many devotees from various places congregate. And when you come here, you get to see each other. Some of them may be known to you before. And Bangalore has been a very, very flourishing spiritual center for ISKCON here. SJM and ICC and SNGM. And His Grace Vyasacharya Prabhu was one very meritorious student from IIT Kharagpur. He has got many medals and both very good in his academics and also in his preaching also, Krishna consciousness. So he, in his house, Gita Govinda house, which he had given for our youth preaching for a while when he was away from Bangalore, now he is back here in Bangalore in full form now, fully devoted to practicing and preaching Krishna consciousness with his good wife and family. Very, very wonderful family. And there are also many other nice devotees here. Many, many familiar faces for me when I come here. Very happy to see all of you. There was some Vrindavan Gopal Prabhu here, and he did his IIM, MBA, and he's back here. So many of them are very good youth preachers in their college days. Now after marriage, now coupled with the strength of their respective wives also. So they will have a double effect now. They'll bring many, many congregations into devotion service. So I see a very great, bright future for this center. The very fact that you all are flooding this hall means Krishna is going to give you a bigger place in future. My Guru Maharaj used to say that if you fill up the place Krishna has given you, he'll give you a bigger place. In our Shri Radha Kunjibari temple in Pune, we had a hall somewhat similar to this. When that got flooding, when my spiritual master came, he said, "Oh, this place is flooding. I think you need a bigger place," he said. Then the Prasadam hall came, which is almost triple the size. Then after 2-3 years, that also got full. Then he said, "Oh, this is also full now. You need a bigger place," he said. Then behind the temple, we could accommodate like 1,500, 2,000 people. So we were doing that. After that, the big NVCC temple came after that. So in this way, Krishna will always, like Matsya Avatara, doesn't keep small. It keeps growing. Operation keeps growing. As wherever there is spark of sincerity, Krishna will fan that spark and grow it more and more. Very happy to be here with all of you today. Let us take one verse. So Raja Krishna Prabhu and Vyasa Prabhu have given a very special topic for today. Overcoming obstacles in Krishna consciousness. So that's why I took this particular verse, 1.8.42, Srimad Bhagavatam. Tvai me ananya vishaya matir madhupate sakrit Ratim Budbahatat Adha Gange Vaugham Udanvati. Now all the men together we will recite, okay? Tvai me ananya vishaya matir madhupate sakre ratim budbhagata adha gange vaugham udanvati. Now Mataji will recite together. Tvai Now everybody is satisfied now. nobody has missed to recite. Otherwise, sometimes three devotees simultaneously compete. So therefore, I do like this. Twayi, unto you. Me, my. Ananya Vishaya, unalloyed. Matihi, attention. Madhupate, O Lord of Madhu. Asakrit, continuously. Ratim, attraction. Udbhahatat, may overflow. Adha, directly. Ganga, the Ganges. Iva, like. Ogham, flows. Udanvati, down to the sea. So translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Kashyap, you can read it. You can take this mic.
O Lord of as the Ganges forever flows to let my attention be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. Purport. So now everybody need not repeat. I'll just read. Purport by His Divine Jai. Perfection of pure devotional service is attained when all attention Perfection of pure devotional service is attained when all attention is diverted towards the transcendental loving service of the Lord. To cut off the tie of all other affections does not mean complete negation of the finer elements like affection for someone else. This is not possible. A living being, whoever he may be, must have this feeling of affection for others because this is a symptom of life. The symptoms of life, such as desire, anger, hankerings, feelings of attraction, etc., cannot be annihilated. Only the objective has to be changed. Desire cannot be negated. But in devotional service, the desire is changed only for the service of the Lord in place of desire for sense gratification. The so-called affection for family, society, country, etc. consists of different phases of sense gratification. When this desire is changed for the satisfaction of the Lord, it is called devotional service. In the Bhagavad Gita, we can see that Arjuna desired not to fight with his brothers and relations just to satisfy his own personal desires. But when he heard the message of the Lord, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, he changed his decision and served the Lord. And for his doing so, he became a famous devotee of the Lord. For it is declared in all the scriptures that Arjuna attained spiritual perfection by devotional service to the Lord in friendship. The fighting was there, the friendship was there, Arjuna was there. But Arjuna became a different person by devotional service. Therefore, the prayers of Kunti also indicate the same categorical changes and activities. Srimati Kunti wanted to serve the Lord without diversion, and that was her prayer. This unalloyed devotion is the ultimate goal of life. Our attention is usually diverted to the service of something which is non-godly or not in the program of the Lord. When the program is changed into the service of the Lord, that is to say, when the senses are purified in relation with the service of the Lord, it is called pure, unalloyed devotional service. Srimati Kunti Devi wanted that perfection and prayed for it from the Lord. Her affection for the Pandavas and the Vrishnis is not out of the range of devotional service, because the service of the Lord and the service of the devotees are identical. Sometimes service to the devotee is more valuable than service to the Lord. But here, the affection of Kunti Devi for the Pandavas and the Vrishnis was due to family relation. This tie of affection in terms of material relation is the relation of Maya, because the relations of the body or the mind are due to the influence of the external energy. Relations of the soul, established in relation with the Supreme Soul, are factual relations. When Kunti Devi wanted to cut off the family relation, she meant to cut off the relation of the skin. The skin relation is the cause of material bondage, but the relation of the soul is the cause of freedom. This relation of the soul to the soul can be established by the medium of the relation with the super soul. Seeing in the darkness is not seeing, but seeing by the light of the sun means to see the sun and everything else which was unseen in the darkness. That is the way of devotional service.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. You all can hear me well? Yeah. See, here is a beautiful analogy given here. Tvayi me ananya vishaya. Vishaya means the object. Ananya vishaya means without diverting my mind to any other subject matter. My dear Lord Krishna, Mati, may my intelligence, oh Madhupate, Lord Krishna. Asakrit means continuously. Ratim means intense love. Udvahata tada. Gange Vaugamudhanmati. Just like Ganges flows towards the ocean. Like that, may my Mati flow towards your lotus feet. Like that she's praying. When Ganges is flowing, sometimes there are trees lying on the midway. So the Ganges flows upward or downwards. Sometimes there are big rocks. Then the water may flow in the side, this way or that way. Because the goal of the Ganges water is to reach the ocean. It doesn't blame the obstacles. It finds the way out to reach the ocean. Similarly, a devotee of the Lord is always intelligent to find ways and means to cross the obstacles and reach the lotus feet of Krishna and engage in Krishna's service. Imagine, like when we go from Pune to Bombay, sometimes the boulders fall from the mountain and they block the road. When the road is similarly heard in Himalayas also, in the Badrinath, Kedarnath, and all, sometimes big ice, bulk of ice like stones, they fall on the roadway. So the vehicles are blocked, isn't it? In the same manner, sometimes in your practice of devotion service, there may be some obstacle which you may feel that, oh, it is insurmountable. I don't think I can cross over this. Therefore, I think I have to halt my devotional service for a while and then do my material duties well. And then I can again come back to devotional service later. Like that, some people feel like that. But we have the fire torch of the holy name, which if you keep in front of you, you can melt the ice, rocks. You keep on melting and that gets dissolved. You keep proceeding ahead. You don't stop. Because the holy name is capable of dissolving all obstacles. The holy name is not different from Krishna. So if you have a fire torch, you can melt the ice. In the same manner, if you have the holy name torch, you have both enlightenment and ability to burn down all the obstacles. So, but one has to take to the chanting of the holy name very seriously. Like Srila Prabhupada, when he went to West, the only wealth he felt that he is carrying with him is the holy name and fame. Because he had no manpower with him. He had no money power. There are people who convert others into one religion to another based on money. You give, oh, you want a watch? Take a watch. You want a house? Take a house. You want to marry? Marry this Mary. There are so many people providing facilities. Take this, whatever you want. And then you practice what we will teach you. But Prabhupada didn't have money to provide anybody. He went with 40 rupees and he brought the 40 rupees back also. Isn't it? And there are other religions, sometimes you convert people on the sword. Huh? You show the sword and either convert or die or whatever. Prabhupada never went with the sword. He went with sword of knowledge, huh? Sword of enlightenment, of Srimad Bhagavatam with him. So in this way, and not only that, anybody looking at Prabhupada would say, naturally, he is not using his, muscle power or money because he's an old man also. He was 70 years when he went to America. So he's old in age, no muscle power or no money power, but he had the holy name power, which he carried with him. He went to the park and sat down under the tree and he chanted the holy name. And with the holy name, he dissipated the ignorance. And and in this way awakened everybody. So the power of the Lord is manifested through the power of the holy name. You can see that. For example, anybody who comes close to Krishna, like Sudama came with poverty, he returned back with prosperity. Arjuna came with confusion, he got clarity and decision making ability in the battlefield, isn't it? Hmm? Draupadi was in a great state of traumatic turmoil when she was about to be, humiliated in the public. Immediately, Krishna gave unlimited sari and offered her protection. Gajendra was in a predicament of being caught by the feet by a crocodile. So Krishna gave him freedom. Like Gajendra needed freedom, Draupadi needed protection, Sudama needed prosperity, and Arjuna needed enlightenment. You see, Parikshit was apparently cursed, we can say, to die in 7 days. Who in this world will consider it a blessing? But you will see, Parikshit got both enlightenment and hope for the future. When he heard the 7 days of Srimad Bhagavatam, he not only became enlightened, Devatas showered flowers from the sky, which goes to show that he is grandly successful. And then he went back to Godhead. So anyone who connects with the Lord or his message or with his holy name can very easily come out of very negative and traumatic and difficult and depressing situations by taking very firm shelter of the practice with faith and attentiveness. So attentiveness is very important. So one of the greatest obstacles in the modern times is the distractions now. So distraction means alternative attraction. Like you open the laptop to read some Prabhupada's book, some pop-up comes. Then you go to click it, and then you get distracted immediately, isn't it? And then you go into one pop-up, and then second one, and third one, and fourth one, and you realize, I came to do one thing, and I'm ending up doing something else. That's what you call as distraction. So recently I was hearing from Shrutikirti Prabhu. He was telling how attentive was Srila Prabhupada. So he was telling certain aspects of attentiveness. One of the things he said was rigid discipline in following a prefixed schedule. This is one of the aspects of attentiveness he was telling. Like Prabhupada got up at 1 o'clock generally in the morning. So 1 to 4 or 5 early morning he will be translating. The purports. He was giving purports to Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhaktivedanta purports. He was very rigid about it. Whether he slept at 9 or slept at 10, he would sometimes sleep only 3 hours and get up. He knew that the whole world is waiting for this enlightenment. So he was fixed. Similarly, he said in the afternoon time, he would take an oil bath and then, he would take a 15 to 20 minutes nap in the afternoon, especially when night it got late. He would take, and then he would, even while taking oil massage, he would dictate dozens of answers to the letters written by disciples. Besides taking the oil bath, he was utilizing every moment very well. And similarly, he has a time for eating, and he will not change the timing. He would only eat at the same time every day. Yeah, and this keeps moving like this. You have this thing. Tighten this one. This goes like this. Become humble. Like that. You have a spanner for this? Okay. Okay. Hmm. Hare Krishna. All right. So, yeah. And so, one of the aspects of attentiveness is if you, our human mind is designed by God in such a way that if you make a schedule and stick to it for a prolonged period of time, it becomes your second nature. Huh? And it is very easy. Sleep early, rise early, eat prasadam on time, and do fixed spiritual activities at fixed times of the day. Like there are devotees in Pune, leaders who have they have a program called Sport. Sport stands for Srila Prabhupada Online Reading Team. Yeah, yeah. Good night, Prabhu. So every day 20 minutes, 8:40 to 9. He started it 3-4 years ago. Now the group is very steady group now. Because when you culture good habit, you come to sattva. And the sattva gives you sukham and jnanam. Both are very valuable commodities for a practicing sadhaka. When you have jnanam, it's like lighting up a tube light in a dark room. And when you have sukham, that happiness keeps you repeating that activity again and again. So over a period of time, many people who became fixed up in hearing, now they cannot give up. They have made it a habit. They have finished dozens of books now. Many books, and they are proceeding ahead confidently without fail. So similarly, chanting early in the morning hours, finishing all the rounds before breakfast. So somebody makes it a habit, then that becomes your second nature. Yesterday I was in Govardhan. We had a youth leaders conference. So there is one devotee there living now known to me. He and his wife, they have a farm and many things they're doing. So he and his wife every day go for Govardhan Parikrama, for 4 hours. Every day morning. They're living in, because Vrajavas you should not do simply like that. Similar reading for 1 hour every day together. So whether you are a grihastha, whether you are a brahmachari, whether you are a boy, student, where there is a will, Krishna shows the way. Do your best and let Krishna do the rest. So you all remember this? Do your best and yes. Where there is a will, how do we know that? Where is the proof for this statement? Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Yenamam. Yeah. Because Krishna only says that. If you are sincere, then I will give you the sadbuddhi. So the ability to remove the obstacles from our life, avoid the distractions and be focused, that is supplied by Krishna himself, attentiveness. He was, Shrutikati was telling how attentive Prabhupada was. One example I'll tell you. One disciple came and gave Prabhupada a watch. Similar watch like what Prabhupada was already wearing, but a new one, new watch. So Prabhupada wore both the watches. He was wearing the previous one and this one also next to each other. One full day he was wearing both. He said you will find it in some of the photos you will find Prabhupada wearing 2 watches. Have any of you worn 2 watches? And somebody asked Prabhupada, why are you wearing 2 watches? Prabhupada said, I want to check whether his watch is running properly. I can't give him my watch unless the new watch is running properly. So at the end of the day, he checked it was properly running. So he gave back the old watch to him. He kept the new watch. So he was telling Prabhupada was not a person who will leave things very casually. What we generally do, we go for buying something and then if it doesn't work, we throw it and get a new one. Correct, no? He was not like that. He wouldn't waste a single penny. So he was telling also that once in his room, the flush was not working properly. If you flush, the water was not throwing down the siphon is there, no? Below that, the stool was not going. So then they brought a plumber. So the plumber repaired it. And the plumber said, now it's done now. The Prabhupada said, what is the proof that you have done a correct job? And the plumber said, tomorrow morning you will see. And you go to the bathroom and you put the flush, it will throw out everything. Prabhupada told the plumber, wait for 10 minutes. I will give you a certificate that you have done well. So he told the devotee, go to the kitchen and get some chapati ka atta, he said. Flour, they brought it. and he made it long enough like a banana. And then he put it in the commode, he put it. Huh? And then he put the flesh. Huh? It went down. Then he said, certified now. So, see how intelligent he is. Huh? Which means he never did any job, half job. Huh? And he said he always clipped the nails. You will never find any dirt, any nails or dirt in his nail. He was always keeping it very neat and clean. He said, similarly, after eating food, prasad, he will take those. Generally, what we do, we remove this and we spit it in the wash basin. He will not spit because he says prasad should not be wasted. Huh? Because it's ultimately tasted by Krishna, I have to eat it. So that also he will finish it. Huh? So everything he did was very unique. Huh? He would not, he was very attentive in everything he did. Huh? So actually, the attentiveness is the first aspect of concentration, because attentiveness, awareness, absorption. These three things come one after another. First, you are attentive, and then what is the second one? Awareness. Awareness actually means having a full picture of what our spiritual life is. Who am I? What do you think who you are? And what do you think the goal of life is? That is awareness. Like in Pune, when we were making the new temple, I was going around to supervise. So I saw some masons around. I asked the mason, what are you guys doing? One mason said, I'm building a wall. Another mason said, I'm building a hall. And the third fellow said, he said, Swamiji, it's my great good fortune in this life. I got to build a temple for God. He said, I built so many houses and offices. The first time I'm building a temple. So I feel my life has become blessed, he said. So who is having full awareness? God fellow. Similarly, spiritual life can be practiced mindlessly, unconsciously. I'll tell you what is unconsciousness. Like the other day, I was sitting in the car behind. So we were 2, 3 of us sitting. It was a little congested. So I took my laptop and put it in the front seat next to driver. As soon as I put, sound started coming. Why? Seat belt is not put because that foolish machine is thinking that somebody is sitting there. Correct, na? So then immediately what the driver did, he took the belt and put it behind the laptop. So you have seen many people do that in India. They don't want to put the belt, they put it behind. Correct, no? Because it's very easy for you to prove to the machine that you have done what you wanted. At the same time, you will not be bound by the belt. Correct, no? Actually, that is also another state of unconsciousness. Why? Because the belt is given to you for safety. If you don't put the belt, in case there is an accident, your face will be smashed on the glass. On the glass, and the glass may break, face may be smashed. So, if you want to save your face or chin or head or something, then you have to wear the belt properly. So, machine is unconscious, and we can also be unconscious. Understand? No? So, why the rules are made? It is for our good. Like, 2 boys were going in a bike, but they had only one helmet. So, the boy sitting behind, he asked, I don't have a helmet, what to do? He said, no, in that road, police doesn't watch. He said, so, are you wearing a helmet for police not to watch you? Or are you wearing a helmet to protect your head? So, this is also unconsciousness. So, before we can become Krishna conscious, we have to become conscious in everything we do. When Prabhupada was walking in one of the temple farm, he said, just see how they can be so careless, he asked. What is it, Prabhupada? From there, quite a distance away, there was a tap which was dripping. And Prabhupada took the devotees there and then told them, make sure unnecessarily water is not wasted. Lights are not unnecessarily put on. Water is not wasted. Unnecessarily things should not be wasted. So, one has to be aware of, now I'm talking about very small things now. In the same manner, the deities are standing on the altar. Our consciousness to see their presence, see that they are glancing at us and they are blessing us. So for that we need consciousness. When we went to Bangladesh once for yatra with His Holiness Indranan Swami Maharaj and His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, we were about 20 brahmacharis. So we went to one of the samadhis of Govinda Ghosh, Madhav Ghosh, Vasudev Ghosh. Three Ghosh brothers, all pure devotees and great singers also. You must have heard about this Govinda Ghosh. So these are very, very wonderful devotee brothers. So there is samadhi there of all the three brothers. So we went to samadhi, we bowed down, and we were sitting there, and both Maharaj was chanting, and we were also chanting. After that, His Holiness Indrajana Swami Maharaj made a very profound statement. He said, some of you guys may be wondering, why are we coming and bowing down to samadhi? The body must have been buried inside, and everything must have eaten by ants or other creatures, and only bones may be left there. And how is our prayer going to be effective? He said, this is Jada Buddhi. This is mundane vision. He said, the Chinmaya Buddhi is, these great souls have already ascended to spiritual world and they are in their Siddha Deha. From there they are looking down. So anyone who comes to their Samadhi and bows down, they are blessing them from the top, from the spiritual world. That is why there is one full book on Vaishnava Samadhis. You know that? So one can go to Samadhi of an Acharya and bow down and circumambulate and pray to Acharya. And the Acharya is in his Siddha Deha now. From the spiritual world, he is blessing the devotee over his offering prayer. They are capable of blessing us, uplifting us. They are not rotating in the cycle of birth and death like the other jivas. They have already become liberated. They are in the spiritual world. That is spiritual vision. So in this way, one who has a spiritual vision has full-blown consciousness and full-blown awareness. One who is not so, then one may be unconscious. If one is unconscious, then we are not aware of our true situation, who I am and who Krishna is. So in this way, attentiveness, awareness, and absorption. Absorption means to become oblivious. Oblivious to the external environment. See, we are talking about obstacles today. Where are the obstacles situated if you see? Our obstacles are internal and external obstacles. The internal obstacles are stored in the mind. And the external obstacles may come on our way based on our destiny. Some obstacles are destined to come in our life. That doesn't mean you will be defeated by the obstacles. Like we say, pain is compulsory, but suffering is an option. Why it is said like that? Because different people respond to different amount of pains differently. For example, for the same given pain, two people respond differently. For example, if a child is brought up in a very, very cozy manner from childhood, even for a small pain, he'll make a big allagulla, big noise he will make, even for a small problem. And children who are used to, living life of adversity, even when big pains come, they take it with a cool head. You've seen that? Yeah. Say, for example, you have been sleeping on chatai, and then tomorrow you get married, and your father-in-law is giving you a small gaddi. You know the small one? Thin one. You'll be very grateful. Thank you for the gift. If you have been sleeping in a gaddi which is 1 feet thick, tomorrow he gives you a small mattress, thin mattress, you will criticize. See how I have been living, how he is giving. That means if you have enjoyed bigger luxury, then less luxury is painful for you. When you have lived a life of austerity, then little luxury is also like a gift for you. Correct? No? So that is the reason why those people who are in the path of spiritual life, they learn simplicity. If you learn simplicity, keeping austere and simple, then you will see that you're always grateful in all circumstances, whatever comes your way. Imagine there is no prasad when you come to the temple. Instead of that, somebody gives you rice dal. Will you be grateful or not? At least rice dal. At least you got. But if you have been eating all pulao, kadhi and gulab jamun, rasagulla and everything, somebody gives you a rice dal, you will say, that's all. Isn't it? So that is why we should not pamper the senses. So I'll tell you one very simple formula, how to deal with the obstacles of the mind. There's a very easy formula. It is, You remember the STOP formula. S-T-O-P. S stands for satisfaction. If you cultivate satisfaction in all situations, you will see that mind becomes calm, cool, collected. Sada santushta manasaha sarva shivamaya dishaha sharkara kantakadi. See, there's an analogy given here. You're walking on a forest pathway. There may be thorns. There may be pebbles. There may be thickets and grasses which may prick your feet. It's painful. But if you wear a gumboot means a boot which goes till your knee. You have seen that? If you wear a gumboot, you can even walk in a muddy pool of water. You can walk over the stones and pebbles. You can walk even over the thorns because the gumboot is very thick. Thorns cannot enter inside. And Bhagavatam says, your satisfaction is like that gumboot. If you cultivate satisfaction in all circumstances, you will see that mind becomes very calm, cool, collected. For example, Santosha trishu kartavyo swadare bhojane dane trishu chaivana kartavyo swadhyaya japadanayoho. Like that, Chanakya is telling a very nice verse where he says, three things we should be satisfied with. One should be happy with one's wife. One should not hanker for anybody else. Some man may think, oh, my wife is very simple looking. Look at that beautiful woman, whom he may see in the office. But but then he finds his wife is simple looking, but she's a woman of character. She's a Gunavati. And there is another Rupavati who is roaming with multiple men. Huh? What is the use of that beauty? It's unchaste beauty. So therefore, one should learn to be satisfied with wife as God's gift. Sadare. Then bhojane means one should be happy with the food cooked at home and one should not eat out in a hotel. Because if you eat in a hotel, you have to later on pay doctor's bill also. You'll get sick. Also with that type of food eat because it's cooked for commercial purposes. Money making purposes. So one should be happy with the food cooked at home and offered to Krishna. Sadare bhojane. Dhane means whatever pocket you have, from that only you spend money. Throw away the credit card. Don't take any loan at all. Because you should cut chappal to leg size or cut leg to chappal size. So you found a very beautiful chappal, only little small golden slippers you found in a very nice shop. You fell in love with that chappal. So you cut your feet. Will you do that? You have to cut chappal to leg size, which means all your expenditure you should cut within your pocket size. We should not spend beyond that, he says. Be satisfied with whatever economic strength Krishna has given you, based on your destiny in this life. Don't be greedy to use credit card to, just child is on EMI, house is on EMI. My car is also on loan. Everything, wherever look around in the house, everything on loan. Is it good? Loan, low. You'll be all the time in tension. How will I pay back this? How will I pay back that? So he says, if you learn to spend less and save more, he says, then mind is peaceful. He says, so three things you should be satisfied. Then three things he says, don't be satisfied. He says, Swadhyaya, study of the Shastra, never say, Prabhu, I have already finished Bhagavad Gita once. Some people say that. What have you finished? There is so much depth to the scripture. The more you hear from different devotees, there is so much depth in the scripture. Swadhyaya should never be stopped. Just as eating food daily, you don't stop it. Throughout the life you eat. Like that, the Shastra should be taken up daily. Swadhyaya. Similarly, japa also. One shouldn't say 16 rounds are over. Hang the bead bag back on the wall. I am liberated for today. Don't think like that. Prabhupada said minimum 16 rounds. He didn't say maximum. What is the meaning of minimum? Yeah, you can do more. Nobody will punish you if you do more. It is only benefit to chant more. So Swadhyaya, Japa. And Danayo means in giving charity, do not fear. Just like in a river, if you take one glass of water from a river, is river going to lose? No. If you put back one glass of water in the river, will river gain? So Krishna is like that. Ultimately, everything belongs to Krishna. You are taking out something and you're giving something. Ultimately, whatever you're taking and giving is all belonging to whom? Krishna only. Nothing is ours. So with that consciousness, if you give Hare Krishna, if you give charity for devotional activities, Krishna will give you a million times more. Because Krishna has millions of hands, you only have two hands. Imagine Krishna gives it million hands, you can't catch also. So much he can give you. But if you refuse to give charity and Krishna takes away with million hands, you won't be able to hold on also. Correct? Huh? You can't hold on also. So therefore, don't hesitate to give. He says. So give charity, do more japa, and do more swadhyaya, study of scriptures. Don't be conjuice, don't be miserly in these things. Because if you do these three things, your satisfaction level will increase. If you do these three things, swadhyaya, japa, and dhan. Actually, you may wonder, Prabhuji, we're giving money to Krishna, how is my satisfaction increased? I will tell you a story about that. There was one house, there were 4 sons, one Vaishya Parivar, one Vaishya family. And the father was dividing the property. There was one house which is like a 4-story building he had built, fully replete with, what do you call it, and marble also, and also they had used granite also. Very beautiful house built. So all the 4 brothers had eye on it. They said, we want it, we want it. And it's a very beautiful place. The father was thinking that all other properties are divided. For this one property, there is a big competition. Father said, all 4 of you can share and live in that building. They said, no, I only want it, I only want it. Everybody was adamant. Finally, after 3-4 months of heated discussion at home, the father said, because I go to ISKCON, I'm thinking of gifting it to ISKCON. So then the father gifted it to one of the Swamis in ISKCON. He asked the sons, is it all right? All of them said, no problem, give it. As long as the other fellow doesn't get it. So the man was telling, after giving to Krishna, Tyaga Shantir Anantaram. Our home became a happy home again. That means by giving to Krishna, there is no competition. Like, for example, you got some Diwali bonus. There is a fight. Wife is saying, I want to get 2 more saris. And children are saying, oh, I want to get some toys. Isn't it? Isn't it? And son is saying, I want to get a bike. And then you say that, no, we'll keep little money and gift it to Krishna. Then everybody is peaceful. So, in this way, giving charity to Krishna, study of the scriptures, chanting of the holy name gives you satisfaction. And also, if you are satisfied with one's own good wife and food cooked at home and offered to Krishna, one is satisfied. And also the wealth, whatever comes, Krishna sends, you learn to be satisfied, spend within that. Then he says that you will get satisfaction. That's the first yes I told you. If you cultivate yes satisfaction, you will see that the mind becomes calm, cool, collected. When Rukmini had sent one Brahman to go to Krishna with the letter, first thing Krishna asked him, my dear Brahman, are you satisfied? He asked him. Are you studying the scriptures properly? Are you satisfied? Are you performing all the limbs of dharma, like chanting the holy name and doing aratis and everything? And then Krishna told him, if you are not satisfied in this place, you will never be satisfied in any place. He told him. If you are not satisfied with your current situation in which Krishna puts you, then you will never be satisfied, even if you become Indra in heaven also, he said. So satisfaction is very important, he said. Now, some of you may have a question. If we are satisfied, then where is the growth? Where is the progress? We should be ambitious in life. If you are not ambitious, then we'll be left behind and the society will progress. Actually, in the name of ambition, people are committing suicide now. They have gone to the other extreme. In just 1 year, I heard in 2023 alone, the 248 youths committed suicide in Bangalore. You must have heard about that. Just 1 year alone, and that too only one city only. That is because in the name of ambition, people are killing themselves now. What kind of, we say for the car also, the speed kills. You have heard that? If you race on the road too fast. Yesterday when my driver was driving, suddenly a ting, ting, ting sound came. I asked, all of us are wearing belt. Why is it making sound? Because it was exceeding the speed. It was 120 plus. Then it gives a sound. Then he said, it's an indicator that you are going beyond the speed. Similarly, when you become over ambitious, what is the indication? Tyon, tyon, tyon. You get back pain, stiff neck, ulcers in the mouth, indigestion, in the belly, stress, tension, irritation, anger, isn't it? Loneliness. So these are all symptoms of very educated people nowadays. You know, isn't it? That is because we are becoming over ambitious. It's becoming 103, 104, 107 degrees Fahrenheit. 104, 107 is Marana Jwaram. People die. Materialism has gone to such a peak that people commit suicide. Yeah. So we don't say make it zero. We should bring it to at least 98.6. Correct, no? There should be a balance in material spiritual. Prabhupada says dharmasya glani means people are becoming more materialistic, he says. So then one can get satisfaction. Then the second one, T, is tolerance. One should cultivate. Krishna says that in the 2.14. Anybody knows the famous verse? Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkada agama payino nityas So Krishna is telling here, my dear Arjun, in this world, you will find the pleasure and pain are twins. They always come together. Just like if somebody says, please may I come in? You say yes. Along with him, the shadow will also come. Like that, if you want pleasure, you also get pain. If you lit up a smoke in the furnace, if you lit up a fire in the furnace, you also get smoke also. If you get honor, somebody honors you, somebody else will dishonor you. And when you get cold winter, you also get hot summer also. So they're like twins, Krishna says. So in this world, you can't avoid them. You should learn to tolerate. How? Like your mother Kunti. Therefore he says Kaunteya. See, your mother is how tolerant she is. She came with fatherless children to the Asat Sabha of Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. How much she suffered, with you children going to forest and everything. So, Matra Sparshasta Kaunteya is saying, learn to tolerate. Don't make a big fuss about small issues. Some people throw tantrums for even small problems also. Even petty problems. Somebody gave you a glass of water and you were talking on phone and then you were picking up and then the glass fell. Bang, it just broke. And you may make such a big scene for next 2 hours. It's a 2 rupee glass. There may be so much of Kurukshetra at home. So we make a big fuss about small things. It's called as bringing a machine gun for a mosquito. Imagine there is a mosquito and you want to put off the mosquito. You get a machine gun. You shoot like this. 3-4 people die. And then you say, I just actually, I wanted to get rid of this mosquito. So we need tolerance. We need to cultivate tolerance. Tolerance, nowadays, especially in this modern day world, so many living entities are uncultured in their behavior, in their speech, in their dealings and behavior, arrogant. They are lacking many good qualities nowadays because of no training in the scriptures. So we need tolerance. Like you're driving a car, somebody cuts and goes from the left side. He's supposed to go on the right side. He didn't give any signal. He's just dashing very fast. People do many things like that. Yeah. So you will find many people do. So if you are going to become disturbed by small things in life, all day from morning to night, you will be under stress. So one has to tolerate. Why we have to tolerate? You see, if your teeth bites your tongue, will you break your teeth? Take a hammer and break it. You put my tongue. Will you break? Similarly, all the sufferings and happinesses that we are receiving is actually a fruit of our own past activities. We don't know when we did what. You may not be able to figure out. Say one gets malaria. You go to doctor and ask him, how did I get malaria, sir? Tell me. And nobody else got, I got it. Why? He says some malaria mosquito has bitten you. Go and bring that mosquito in front of me. Otherwise, I will not take tablet. Will you say that? No. You may not know where is that mosquito. But you know that now I have to take medicine. Tolerate and go on. Take medicine and cure yourself. So tolerate. And the third one is is oblivious. Oblivious. What is the meaning of being oblivious? Actually, this is such a good quality. Absorption. When the more we absorb in spiritual life, we can become oblivious. I'll tell you how. Jnanis and yogis, They struggle hard with their senses and mind to restrain them to the best of their capacity, and oftentimes they fail. Like Vishwamitra, for example, he fell down to Menaka first due to lust. Later on, he fell down prey to Ramba due to anger. Later on, he fell prey to pride while making a Trishanku Swarga. So repeatedly they fall prey to different vices. Although they try to restrain the mind, mind is very thick and very stout and very difficult to control. Imagine, you, it's like you try to control an elephant by catching the tail of the elephant. Can you control? It's very difficult. It's such a stout animal. It'll run away. You can't do that. Mind also is very difficult to control. So how can the mind be restrained? So uh, the jnani's main goal is how I can get rid of this pushings and pullings and then go to Brahman and then relax. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. That's what they want to attain. But constantly they are fearful that anytime the senses and mind will overpower us, explode. Just like, say, you tie a tiger with a rope to a pole. Anytime the tiger can slap on your face and cut off the rope and run to the forest. That example is given in the fifth canto by Rishabhadev. So, artificially restraining the mind and senses is like that, it says. But becoming oblivious to mind and senses is altogether a different process. For example, if you create a vacuum in a bulb, that vacuum can anytime explode. Bulb can explode. Clang, like that. You can see in labs and all we have experience. To remove the traces of oxygen, you create vacuum. It's a very vulnerable situation. On the other hand, you fill up the bulb with argon, xenon, krypton, or some inert gases. That goes in and easily it ousts the oxygen. You know the word oust in English? You know what is oust means? You go inside and you push, 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 and then push the other fellow out. Like that. Ousting. You heard the story of the sheikh and the camel, no? The camel was saying, Sir, it's very cold outside. Can I put my head in? And the sheikh was fast asleep. Said, okay, he said. And he put his head inside. And then he saw, hey, this man is sleeping quite cool. My legs are freezing, body is freezing. He said, Sir, it's too cool outside. Can I put my front two legs? And the sheikh says, all right, he said. And he put the front two legs. And after that, he took permission for the rear two legs also. And guess what? Must have happened. And the sheikh suddenly felt, hey, it's so frozen cold. And he opened the eyes and he saw the moon in the sky and stars. And he was wondering, where am I? Where is the tent? And he looked by the side and the tent was safe. But who was inside? That is called oust. So, similarly, if you put the positive things inside, negative things can be ousted. That is called as, make oblivious, which means, when you put inert gases in a bulb, it drives out the other gases. Similarly, we have to learn the art of absorbing ourselves in Krishna consciousness in such a way that the impure thoughts and impure activities can be ousted out. There was one couple coming to Sri Radha Kunjabari temple in Pune. In those days, I have seen them. They were newly married, and husband would bring his wife in a bike. He would bring. So I would congratulate them because they would come for 4:30 in the morning, coming in the bike. So I always saw that the husband is very happy and Mataji is morose. I asked, why? Oh, you are so happy, she is morose. Then Mataji was telling, Prabhuji, when he brings me in a bike, always, every day we encounter a bulldog which chases after the bike. Behind. And the husband, and she would tell the husband, drive fast, drive fast. He would drive fast. And Mataji was saying that I'm always afraid that it will bite my leg because she's sitting backside, yeah. But the husband has no problem. He's sitting in the front. He is telling, why are you afraid? Be cool. So she used to tell him, you sit behind, you can't be cool. And that went on for a while, probably 2-3 years. They were coming like that. Later on, I saw both of them very happy. They had a baby also. They were very happy. I asked, now you seem to be very happy? Mata said, yes, now you got a Maruti car now. Now the same dog comes running, but they have no fear at all. This is oblivious. Bhakti Yoga makes you like this. Bhakti Yoga keeps you absorbed in such a way that, you get a bulletproof, which is Maya proof covering around you. And then, the onslaught of the material nature is not going to change. Only you become oblivious to it. Hmm? For example, uh, you may be knowing in the early morning hours the traffic is very heavy in Bangalore right now. Like this you go. Like this you go some distance and stop every inch. Sometimes you feel better to go get down and walk only. I'll be faster than the car, correct, no? So you can't go ahead, you can't go behind also. Because you are jammed between the two. But there's a third way. If helicopter lifts you up and directly takes you to office, that is oblivious. You are not affected by the external environment. External environment is not going to change. That's going to be the same. We have to become oblivious to it. When you become oblivious, so how do we become oblivious? A real life example we can give of Bhishma Pitama. Bhishma Pitama is sitting in the Asat Sabha day in and day out. The four dushtas, dushta chaturtayam, who are they? Duryodhana, Dushasana, Shakuni, Karna. They're all hatching plots, trying to trouble the Pandavas. And Bhishma is, do you think he's happy? He's not all happy. Day in and day out, he has to hear political things. They're talking politics. They're always walking on the path of adharma. And it is very painful for him. But he was very, very Krishna conscious. Very Krishna conscious. When once Krishna was about to come as a Shanti Dut, and Dhritarashtra called a meeting. And he told, hey, before Lord Keshava comes here, we should receive him in such a manner that, he will forget the purpose for which he is coming. And then the war will not be stopped. The war will continue. That was the desire of Dhritarashtra. Let us wipe out the Pandavas in the war. And then we can rule out the whole world. My sons will rule. That was his desire. So he called Duryodhana and said, my dear son, arrange a golden chariot to be gifted to Krishna and give him a dozen elephants. Give him 2 dozen horses. Give him silken clothes. Give him rubies and pearls and diamonds in charity. Let beautiful young girls go and perform dances and let them make nice rangoli. Let there be very attractive, colorful garlands offered to him. And in this way, let the Brahmanas chant the Vedic mantras and welcome Krishna to Hastinapur. So we will give him a grand welcome and accommodate him in the Dushasana's palace, which is the most opulent palace. In this way, let us make him forget the purpose for which he is coming. At that time, Vidura said, what are you talking, brother? If you really want to please Lord Keshava, you should simply do what he wants you to do. That is the real way of pleasing the Lord. Don't try to come up with some crooked way of your own. You want to do what you want to do, and you want to cheat Krishna. He is the last one to be cheated in this world. He's Dyutam Chalayatamasmi. If anybody tries to cheat him, then they will get cheated. Like Bhaksan Thakur says, one man was walking on the road. He saw the clouds were rumbling. He said, hey, don't make noise, he said. But the clouds were rumbling. Then he looked up at the sky, like that he spat. Guess what must have happened? It went up and came and landed on his cheeks. So he said, if you try to cheat the Lord, you will get cheated. Then Dhritarashtra understood, yes, what he is saying is true. Not possible. Then Duryodhana said, I am planning to arrest Krishna. I am planning to arrest Krishna with a cage which will fall from the top. Somebody can take the children to another room. You can take them to another room. They can go to another room and play. Give them a place to play. You're tightening. Yeah. Yes. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, yeah. So, Duryodhana, as soon as he said, I'm going to arrest Krishna, Bhishma became very angry. Bhishma said, what a foolish talk you guys are doing. You don't know, Krishna was only few days old. He killed Putana, who grew 12 miles long. Later on, at the age of 5, he 5.5, he danced on the 1,000-wooded Kaliya snake. Later on, at the age of 7, he lifted the Govardhan hill. And he killed so many demons which came one after another to Vrindavan. What are you thinking Krishna is? So the way he glorified Krishna shows Bhishma's absorption in Krishna. Huh? You know, and then he said, you can't do anything to Krishna when he comes here. Huh? Don't even harbor such thoughts in your mind foolishly, he said. So later on, you will find the same Bhishma when he went to the war. He was exchanging pure love with Krishna in Virya Rasa. Huh? It's a war is a place where the heads are flying, people's lives are taken away, and a river of blood is flowing. In that place, he is exchanging love. Can you imagine? Huh? We have a peaceful place in the morning, sitting in a room, huh? But we have difficulty observing our mind. He is in a ranabhumi. Huh? He is in the middle of the battlefield. Huh? Where there are war cries, people yelling, crying, shouting, huh? Throwing weapons on one another. Huh? In that place, is exchanging love with Krishna. This goes to show an interesting phenomenon. If you add water to milk, the milk gets diluted. But once you convert the milk into butter, then the butter will never mix with water. No matter how much amount of water you add in butter. So that means by sadhana and by spiritual practice, Bhishma has made his mind, which is like milk, into butter. Huh? So then it's consolidated, integrated consciousness. It's called as a seamless flow of remembrance of Krishna. So know the word in English, seamless. Seamless means what? See, when you take two cardboards and connect, you will see a connecting line between the two. So that is, without that, sometimes people fuse two metallic sheets in such a way that you don't see the connecting line. That is called seamless. Seamless means one continuous. Similarly, in remembrance of Krishna, one who has we say apratihata, we say, no? Ahaituki and uninterrupted remembrance or hearing of the holy name. There is another verse also, a similar verse. Um, Avyavahita, that word is also used. Ya bhakti purushottame. That is said by Kapila, also says that. So, uninterrupted remembrance he must have had. Otherwise, in the battlefield, he can't remember the Lord like that. So, that means his internal state of consciousness is exchanging remembrance of Krishna, love with Krishna. Externally, he's looking like a warrior. Pritrasura, externally looks like an asura, but his heart is sold out to Krishna. And bhakta means, who is a bhakta? Bhaktas are those who have sold out their heart to Krishna. Not sold out. They lost their heart to Krishna. Why you say the word lost? People wear a t-shirt, no? I lost my heart in. Nobody says, I went to Vrindavan and gave my heart to Krishna and came. Why? Because in matters of love, people don't give, they lose. You will see when there is love, suddenly you find your heart is calling. Where is it? Somebody has taken away. Isn't it? So I lost my heart in Vrindavan. So he lost his heart to Krishna like that. Then one can be oblivious to the material circumstances around us. Just like a lotus is in the middle of kichad, muddy pool of water, but it is very pure and pristine. Or a drop of water on a lotus leaf is also oblivious. It doesn't touch the lotus. You can see that. So how do we come to that stage of absorption, which will lead to being oblivious? Shastras give many, many clues for this. Like if you keep a ink pen on a blotting paper, it absorbs, correct? No? Similarly, continuously if you keep touching the ink pen, then only it absorbs. Not that you, like that you touch. Our chanting of the holy name, when he said, Hare Krishna, immediately mind goes there. Hare Ram. So we are just touching the pen and taking away. We are not holding the holy name in the mind. Little bit, immediately mind goes there. But Aghasura was holding the Lord in the mouth. So he got Swarupa Siddhi, even though he was Asura. Krishna said that. Why am I giving him Swarupa Siddhi? Because he was able to hold me in his mouth. The other fellow spat him out. What is his name? Bakasar. As soon as you can, immediately. We also spit out the holy name. We don't hold it. But if you can hold the holy name, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Then you will see that by holding the holy name, the purification is rapid. Like sometimes when we are eating prasad, after the prasad, you keep talking, chatting with devotees, then hands are dry, plate is dry, correct? No? Washing is difficult, but you overflood the plate with water and leave it near the sink. And after half an hour you go, it just comes out very smoothly. Because you are holding the water in the plate. That removes the sticky things. Similarly, if you hold the holy name in the mouth and the heart, then you will see that that removes the anarthas very easily. So there are various ways to do that. One thing I told you is that we have to do things for a prolonged period of time. Like, for example, Shruta Sambritaya Chiram. Here, Krishna Katha for a prolonged hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. In those days, Bhagavad Katha means morning 3 hours, evening 3 hours people had. 6 hours they would hear. When I was traveling abroad in one temple, they told me, Rajashampu, you know the timing of the class? I asked, how much? 20 minutes, they said. They said, 2 minutes Radha Madhav, 1 minute prayer, and 2 minutes recitation of the shloka. Yeah. Correct. So for prolonged hearing produces impressions. Prolonged exposure produces, like, dhyayato vishyan pumsaha. Attachment only will come when you give prolonged exposure. Now what we are doing, we are giving prolonged exposure to computer. Therefore, what happens by that, you can see what happens by that. I will just show you. See this one.
ชินรู้ก็รู้ว่าฉันเป็นชินแล้วชินก็ทำงานหนักเพื่อเราสองคนแต่ก็ต้องการ
That is due to prolonged exposure also. That means we cannot prolonged exposure to material activities or prolonged exposure to spiritual activities. So, prolonged exposure to spiritual activities. For example, any of you, if you are Brahman initiated, you go into the deity room, you're looking at the face of the Lord, you're dressing him, you're decorating him, you're feeding him bhoga. Later on, you are doing arati for him. Like I used to do it in GEV when I was 2 years studying Bhaktivedanta, Bhakti Vaibhava course when I was doing. So, after you come out of the pujari room, still the face of the Lord is fresh in your mind. You have just now seen it and you have served. And how is it? Because a mother who is serving a child, you can see that she is not dressing the child. First of all, she's bathing the child, dressing the child, decorating the child. Sometimes they put hair like them, put rubber band. Sometimes they make a jata also. In Vedic life, you will see mothers are sitting with the daughters and doing this. You have seen that? They do too long. It takes time. We may think that, so much time is there just to put the hair like this. But that also increases the affection between mother and daughter also. They're taking out that time. You will see that. Because of their continued service to the child, even after the child goes to school, the mother remembers the form of the child. You ask any mother, can you see the face of the child in your mind? They can easily see that. That means where there is love, you can easily see the form of the personality. It's very easy to see that form. So, just as the mother remembers the child, in the same manner, devotees remember the Lord's form also. Give prolonged exposure. Prolonged exposure to what? Prolonged exposure to chanting of the holy name. Ekadashi days, we can chant more rounds. Prolonged exposure to hearing Krishna Katha for long hours, attentively hearing and studying from various angles and discussing with devotees. The more you hear the pastimes of the Lord, then it sticks to your mind. And then even after the class is over, your heart is carrying those impressions. You are remembering that. Prabhupada told the devotees, if in the night when devotees would be drinking milk, Prabhupada said, along with it, read Krishna book, because you will get Krishna dreams. Prabhupada said, by that. It doesn't happen instantly, but it happens over a period of time. By prolonged exposure is one of the things. So prolonged exposure gives absorption, and that gives obliviousness to the other thing. If one is absorbed in matter, he becomes oblivious to spiritual life. If you become absorbed in spiritual subject matter, then you become oblivious to material life. Then I have seen even couples, husband, wife, children, if their home is having a beautiful altar and they do the arati in the morning, they chant together, and then, they read, and the evening also they have some program. Those who absorb in lot of services, their mind will gradually get absorbed in spiritual activities. And they can be in the world, but not of this world. We don't say you run away from your duties. You have to do some job, you have to make some money. But they keep the life simple, material life simple. You can be oblivious to material life. And then P for patience. One has to be patient in spiritual life. Prabhupada gives example in Nectar of Instruction. If a man and woman are married, at least it takes 1 year for the wife to beget a child. So one has to be patient. Similarly, if you sow a seed in the ground, immediately you cannot get mangoes. You have to water it, you have to fence it, you have to take some time out. Eventually it will give rise to a tree and then a lot of mangoes will come. So you need patience in spiritual life. And the satisfaction, tolerance, becoming oblivious and patience. These things can calm the mind very much. Now, for example, how many of you tell me when you first started chanting the holy name, you know, no, you will see that, this is the one you start from here, isn't it? One mantra, two mantra. And then as chanting, people slowly open the eyes and see how long it is going to take to reach this. And it looks like, you are chanting for a long time. How many ever had that experience? One round when you are chanting, correct, no? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So you chant in 15 minutes or 20 minutes, you will chant. After one round, finish now. You feel like that, isn't it? But now you're chanting 16 rounds. How? Because you have developed willpower and patience. Both. Your willpower has increased, therefore your patience also has increased. At that time when you were chanting one round, your patience was very, very limited. You're very, very impatient. Nowadays, many children, you find there, many hyperactive children are born nowadays. Modern times, because of the culture. Children are becoming super hyperactive nowadays. I go to, in Hyderabad, there is one doctor who treats the children with, there are children with autism. Autism or hyperactivity. They can't just sit in one place. Like all of you are sitting for so long, more than an hour now. Because you're chanting more rounds now. Otherwise, the, what do you call it? The hearing ability is very limited for many people. So, and the retention is also poor. Taking in is also poor. People want to be, run. It's a running culture, isn't it? Passion, too much of passion. But when you hear for a prolonged period, hearing the holy name, hearing the holy fame, and rendering services. Like when my father and mother had passed away in 2017, I had called one Sri Vaishnava Pujari who did all the kriyas and all. So when he started, I saw every day it takes like 3 to 4 hours it takes. But he sits very peacefully, sets up the Yajna Kund and everything. They do that. How many of you have seen this? Pujaris doing activities very coolly for 3-4 hours at a stretch. Lot of patience. They have lot of patience setting up the things and doing the mantras. And how many of you felt a little restless when they are correct? Yeah. So nowadays many people ask, is it possible to make a shortcut of that? Nowadays pujaris also ask, tell me how much time you have. Tell me. I'll fit it into that, make a capsule of that, correct? No? So you go to Madhva Mata also, if you see Ashtamata and all, they do Laksharchana and all, flowers offering and then chanting the name. Practically 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, people do that. It requires a lot of patience, spiritual activities. Actually, when you go to temple, at least there we should sit down coolly. Everywhere you are running, at least in temple you can sit. Therefore, there is a rule that when you visit a temple, you should not immediately go away. What you should do? Because some line, one sentence of the speaker will go in. And that may create awakening. That's why that policy is made. You should sit for some time at least, correct, no? So, we have to, actually, there is a slow cycle race and there's a fast cycle race. Which is more difficult? That's more difficult than fast cycle race. Sprint and marathon. So, you should be willing to try. Nowadays, modern day people have to be taught to slow down their life. They're too fast. They are causing so much accidents in relationships, not just accidents in cars, accidents in relationship, accidents in their peace of mind, accidents in their life itself. So we have to slow down a bit in our rat race, and then take out time to hear the holy fame of the Lord, hear the holy name. So, cultivating these 4 qualities, it can, it calms the mind. Krishna gives another verse, famous verse, I will give you as a homework. You all can recite that verse. Mana prasada saumyatvam maunam atma vinigraha bhava samshuddhirityetat tapa manasam uchyate. He's saying that for the mind, there are 5 austerities. If you do this, the mind will become calm, cool, collected, Krishna says. First he says, mana prasada, satisfaction, which I told you already. Saumyatvam means simplicity, not duplicity. Don't be like Mantara or like Shakuni. Be simple, he says. Be simple like Hanuman. Keep your mind very simple. If you are simple-minded, then devotion service is very easy for you. Don't be crooked. Bhogavriti makes us crooked. Sevavriti makes us simple. So, manaprasada samyatam, maunam means silence, which means talk things which will give you progress in your life and progress for others also. Talk progressively. Don't talk in a way that will be degrading to you or others. I was in Mayapur Dham recently. There were 300 children, lot of children. They have a Prabhupada Sunday school kind of thing they have. So I asked a question, what should we do with the mouth and what should we not do with the mouth? Amazing. Practically dozens of children answered. So one child was saying with the mouth we should not speak bad words. Somebody said with the mouth we should not talk ill of other devotees. And somebody said, with the mouth we should not shout at others. Yes, like that we should not shout at others. Speak politely, somebody said. And somebody said with the mouth we should not make arguments with parents. Children should be obedient to parents and teachers. We should not argue. Another child was saying, with the mouth, we should not talk prajalpa. Talks about mundane things. We should not talk. And somebody said, with the mouth, we should not eat non-veg. One child said like that. Many of them said, and then I asked, with the mouth, what you should do? Naturally, you should eat prasad. We should speak Krishna's glories. We should speak sweet words. We should speak beneficially to other people. Speak from the Shastra. And also keep your speech progressive for yourself and others. So many nice things they were saying. So we can see that the tongue performs dual function. It is Karimendriya also, Jnanendriya also. Because Jnanendriya, how? For tasting. You taste and recognize Jnanendriya. It's Karimendriya, why? Because it speaks. Also. So it's the most difficult sense to control. It is a jitam sarvam jite rasai. It is said in the 11th canto. If you conquer that tongue, you have conquered every other sense in your life, it is said. Which means you should eat only Krishna prasadam. We should not eat anything that is not Krishna prasad. Similarly, we should speak only the glories of Lord and devotees, and we should not offend anybody. So, because if you offend, even during japa, your mind will be disturbed. If you offend. Sakale saman, korite shakati, deho nata yata yata, tabeto gaibo, inama sukhe, aparadha habyan. So in this way, if you want to give up the aparadas, then we should take care of the tongue, what we are speaking, what we are eating. One should be very mindful about that. So manaprasada, saumyatvam, maunam, atma vinigraha, self-control. So self-control is explained in the first verse of Upadeshamrita. Vacha vegam, manasakrodha vegam, jiva vegam, udara upastha vegam. So 6 urges should be controlled, self-control. And then 5th one is sanctification of one's existence. How do you sanctify your existence? That means connect to Krishna, everything. For example, the mind has desires. Nothing wrong with that, but you should only accept things which fall in the category of 3 things, which is, sanctioned, sanctified, regulated. Vegetarian food is sanctioned. And vegetarian food offered to Krishna is sanctified. And eating in moderate proportion, regulated. Like, all of you eat only prasad. Only thing is you have to take care that we eat moderately. Like you were selling Sarvam Prabhu, in a place where you can put 1 mustard seed, you put 1 gulab jamun size. What will happen? That's what you do with the belly. packed the belly. And belly is suffering. Belly is not able. I want to digest, I cannot digest. So then we go to sleep. Digest the food. So regulated is also important. So in this way, our existence can be sanctified by connecting everything to Krishna. Connect the food to Krishna, connect the home to Krishna, connect the money to Krishna, connect your time of the day to Krishna. And then in this way, these are all ways to calm the mind. So in this way, the obstacles in the path of spiritual life become very easy if we sanctify our life. So I'm just going to quote a couple of verses and conclude on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You must have heard this famous verse. Sri Chaitanya Prabhum Vande Yad Balobi Tad Anugrahat Dana Shastra Matagraha Vyaptam Siddhanta Sagaram. He is telling for educated intellectual people, there are many crocodiles in the ocean of Siddhanta in this world. There is Dvaita, there is Advaita, Vasishadvaita, Advaita, Advaita, Shuddha Advaita. And there are also many other philosophies also, of the Western philosophers, Eastern philosophers. So many of us educated people, when we read many, many books, we get totally confused. We may not know what is the truth, what is the ultimate truth, and without clarity. So this is like a vast ocean of Siddhanta, he's saying. And all those philosophers are like crocodiles, he's saying. And then he's giving example. Yeah, the Balopi means imagine taking a tender 6 months old baby and put the baby in the ocean. And the baby is trying to swim. And all the crocodiles are watching him. Still he can reach the other side if the child has Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Like that he's saying. Yeah, Sri Chaitanya Prabhum Vande. I bow down to Lord Chaitanya, who has made our heads free from all the so many different type of complex philosophies, which are only taking one side of the truth and trying to present it as the ultimate truth. But Lord Chaitanya gave a synthesis of all the philosophies, so we can overcome the obstacles of the different philosophies. In the same manner, there is another verse about Lord Chaitanya, which says, what is that? Katanchana smrite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhave vismritam viparitartam Sri Chaitanyam namamitam. Like that, there is a verse which says that Katanchana smrite yasmin. If one faces some obstacle in spiritual life, immediately you remember Lord Chaitanya in your mind. Katanchana smrite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhave. Very difficult things will become very easy for you. Very complex and difficult things. One fellow, I'll tell you, who faced a great, terrible challenge. It happened in India only 500 years ago during Lord Chaitanya's time. It was in Mughal period. In those days, what Mughals would do, sometimes they would take water and sprinkle on somebody. If they do that, then the Hindus will outcast them, ostracize them. So then this was the problem. The fellow becomes neither a Hindu nor a Muslim like that. So there was one Subuddhirai. There was one king. That king's wife saw in her husband's back, there was a lion. She asked, what is this lion? He said, when I was a small boy, I worked under one Subuddhirai, one Hindu man. He was a very, very loving, fatherly man, but he also corrected me, chastised me, sometimes bet me also. But I really love him, he said. She said, no, you have to kill him now, she said. Because he bet you, you are my husband, so he has to kill you. And the king said, how can I kill him? He is my master. At the time I was very poor. Now I have become a king now. Then he thought what to do. Then he told his wife, okay, at least I will insult him by sprinkling water on him. He arranged for a Muslim to sprinkle water on him. And then naturally the Brahmanas outcasted him after that. So he became left out. And he went and asked the Brahmins, how will you all accept me in your community? One Brahmin said, you have to drink molten ghee. Hot smoky ghee you have to drink. And Subhadra said, if I drink, I will die. He said, yes, you have to die. And then you have to be reborn. Only then we can accept. Like that he said. So different people said many, many solutions. He got totally confused. Then he came to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu heard his problem and said, nothing to worry. You just chant the holy name, go to Vrindavan, render service to the Goswamis and all the visitors to Vrindavan, take them to all the holy temples and the holy tirthas, talas, take them. And also when Bengali Vaishnavas come there, they don't like chapati because Braja roti they don't like. They like rice more. So make rice and dahi and serve them. And and take them around for yatra trip, take them around, massage their feet with oil, serve them in this way, where they will bless you, and in this very life you'll go back to Godhead. And Subhadra happily accepted that version of Mahaprabhu and then went and practiced and he perfected his life. See, Mahaprabhu moment is a very joyful moment it is. They both, Chaitanya and Nityananda, they both are dancing with arms raised, isn't it? Kevala, there is no incarnation is, giving in such a merciful way. The most degraded people can become the most exalted. Therefore, he says that, katanchana smrite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhaved. Visprite, viparitartham. If you forget Lord Chaitanya, it's the opposite. So, therefore, take shelter of Lord Chaitanya, he says. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna talks about obstacle also in one of the verses. We will conclude with that very famous verse. This is a very important verse. All of you can memorize this verse. All of you repeat this. Machitta. See, not this one, not Gata Prana, another verse. Machitta sarva durgani. I will just put that. Mat prasadat tarishyasi. Adachetvam ahankaram. Na shoshyasi vinashyasi. Vinankshyasi. See, Machittaha sarva durgani mat prasadat. Durgani means obstacles. All obstacles, my dear Arjun, you will easily cross over them. How? Mat prasadat, by my mercy, Krishna says. But if you go by your own ahankar and don't listen to me, you will be destroyed. Both Krishna says in Gita always. He says, Yeme matamidam anutishtanti manavaha shraddhavanto anasuyanto muchyante te vikarmabhihi. Ye tvadabhyasuyanto na anutishtanti me matam sarvajnana vimudam stan vidyanashtan achetasaha. To both the things he will say in Bhagavad Gita. So here he is saying, Krishna never told Arjuna that you will never have problems in your life. But whenever there are problems, you should think of me, and by my mercy, you will overcome the problems. Like you have to fight a 18-day battle, but I'll be with you as a charioteer. And Durvasaman is coming in the forest. Draupadi remembered me. And Krishna said, immediately I came there and took one grain from the Akshay Patra and saved the situation. So, in this way, in our life, if difficulties and obstacles come, we can overcome them by chanting and remembering the Lord and praying to Him for guidance, praying to Him for direction. We can do that. So, I only took one main thing today, the distraction in the modern times. And for avoiding distraction, we have to have a focus and attention and absorption. Therefore, I told you 3 A's. What are the 3 A's? I told you? Attentiveness, awareness, and absorption, isn't it? So by this 3 things, when you combine them together, you get focus. You get focus. And in order to get focus, I told you, the obstacles are residing internally and externally. The external obstacles can be dissolved with the torch of the holy name, fire torch. All of them like ice melts, like that. Chant the holy name always. Holy name is your weapon, with which you can cut across all the bushes of obstacles in your life. And in our mind, there are many, many obstacles. And for that, I told you one formula, stop formula. You all remember S for? And T, O, and P. Yeah. So, my spiritual master said, you see, all the holes of our body are hankering. Mouth is hankering for prasad. Put more and more. I want food. Eyes are hankering to see beautiful forms. Ears are hankering for sweet music. They are all hankering. But he said, when you fill up all the holes of your body with the supreme whole, then they become satisfied. He said, who is the supreme whole? That is WHOLE. Yeah, when you fill up all the holes of your body with supreme whole, that means with eyes see the beautiful form of Radha Chandra, Radha Madhava, isn't it? With the ears, rejoice in the kirtan and dancing of the holy name. With the mouth, eat only prasad, isn't it? So in this way, all the holes of our body become peaceful and satisfied when you give Krishna to the mind. When you give materialistic sense gratification to mind becomes more agitated. The more you feed sense gratification to mind becomes agitated. More you feed Krishna to mind becomes calm, cool, collected. Krish means to attract. Na means to bestow bliss. So Krishna attracts and gives you bliss. So, but Maya also attracts you, but she will give a punch on the nose. Isn't it? She attracts, gives punch. Krishna attracts and gives bliss. So, in this way, satisfaction and tolerance. Actually, tolerance is not done without a purpose. The next verse says, Yam hina vyatiyantiyate purusham purusharshava samadukka sukham dhiram. So, amritatva, if you tolerate, Krishna says, you will go back to Godhead. He says that. Amritatva kalpati, you will attain amritatva. Tolerate and chant, he says. And O for become oblivious. And P for be patient. Shri Prabhupada ki. Or Bhakta Vrinda ki. I can take one question.
Anybody?
First chance to congregation. Rasta Ripu is coming. There one Prabhuji is raising hand there. See behind. Acha.
हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna.
कल रात को मैंने कुछ आपके लिए बनाया है, मैं भेंट करना चाहता हूँ आपको.
Acha. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Anybody has any questions? Any other questions? Prabhuji, if you permit, I have two questions. So, in S.T.O.P, you talked about tolerance and oblivion. So now, both seem to be little related. Is this understanding correct? That tolerance is still a little negative, not negative, but there is still some kind of an internal struggle and some kind of force to tolerate. On the other hand, oblivious to those things is because of positive spiritual absorption. Is this understanding correct?
There is a considerable difference between the two. I'll tell you how. Say, for example, we are in a theater like this, big theater. There's a hole in the top. There's a hole, and all the four sides fire is coming, engulfing everybody. All are screaming in the hall. And I have got a ladder lying down. I can put the ladder on the hole and then climb up and go out. There is a possibility of escaping. Now, as I'm climbing up the ladder, some people are ridiculing me. Somebody is yelling at me. Somebody is giving gali to me, bad words to me. Now, I can do two things. If somebody is ridiculing, I may go and attack him. Correct, no? I may go and attack him. Or somebody is giving bad words, I may slap him or beat him. So most of the people actually want to react to the situations around, which arise from dualities, like that. But intelligent person thinks, if I get down from the ladder to attack the other people, I am going to be burned away. So better that I climb up and go out, not paying it. Like we say, the dogs bark, caravan. This is tolerance. Tolerance actually means the dualities are always pricking us. Somebody insulted me, somebody displeased me, like we all have, food is a very big thing. We want food to be in a certain manner, correct, no? In true story in Bombay, one fellow was living in the first floor, his wife, she had cooked the food, he ate it, and salt was less. So he told her, why salt is less today? She said, see, if salt is more, you can't remove it. But salt is less. I have kept one pot of salt next to you. You always can take it. And this answer she has given several times. Now he got so restless, he picked her up and threw out of the window. Of course, she got a fracture. She didn't die. It was only first floor only. Yeah. He became so angry, you can see. That means he is lacking tolerance. Agitated, yeah. What's wrong if salt is less? Add some salt. It's too restless. Correct, no? Intolerant. So dualities are always attacking us from all directions. To tolerate the dualities, we say, Tatyenu kampam sudhamikshamano. Tolerate the dualities and focus on spiritual life. Because if you are going to, even that famous verse, Jitatmana prashantatma Paramatma samahita Shita Ushna Sukha Dukkeshu ma tata manapamanayo. See, Shita Ushna is for the body, and Sukha Dukkha for the mind, and Manapaman for the false ego. Jadabharata tolerated all the six. You will see. His brother gave him burnt food. It was not very tasty. He tolerated. His father, pampered him with so much education, everything. He didn't accept that also. He tolerated that. Later on, the dacoits took him and bathed him and gave him silk clothes, gave him a big plate of food, put chandan, kumkum, put garland and everything, and honored him. And then later on, they were about to cut his neck. That was Sukduk. And later on, Rahugana king, he insulted him first and then honored him later. So all the 6 you see in his life. But in all situations, he was very equipoised and tolerant. Yeah. And that is tolerant. And when we talk about oblivious means you have a bubble around you, which the bullet bubble. Kavach. Like Indra was given that kavach in the 6th canto we read now. Naran kavach. Oblivion is like that, which means other, pushings and pullings are unable to access you because you are like Prahlad Maharaj was protected by Lord Vishnu. Ambarish was protected by the Sudarshan. That is oblivious. They don't get affected by anything because they are protected by the Lord's name. Right now? Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Prabhuji, question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this lecture. It helps a lot. I'm very, very grateful. Prabhuji, you said for overcoming obstacles, STOP as the acronym. From personal application perspective, definitely it makes a lot of application sense. But what about social part of it? Because there is an inherent desire that we should do justice to the situation also. So it's not just about personal spiritual application. We also want to make sure that the situation is handled in the best possible way, which serves as an example for the times to come, more like a legacy. And things like that. So
actually, people in society, especially your relatives, friends, they will say many things. Like, relatives tell the parents, his son is in America. Yeah. Then parents come and tell you that, hey, your cousin is in America. What are you doing here? Correct, no? Then you run to America there. Correct, no? And in America, somebody will say that, hey, you are only in this small some .com company, your cousin is in Microsoft or something, Then you think I have to aspire for that because the society throws a lot of aspirations on you and for social validation, to be in the eyes of to be in the good books of the relatives and friends. It's very difficult because everybody is going to dictate terms to you, or you're going to dance according to the tune. If you're going to do that, you will be most miserable man in the world. You know the story of the father, son, and the donkey, no? First the son put the father. Then people said, son is still walking and father is comfortable. Then the father put the son. People said, oh, old man is walking, poor fellow. Son is going. Then both of them sat. They said, poor donkey. Both are sitting. Then both of them lifted the donkey on their shoulder. People laughed at them. And the father, son didn't know what to do. World will always dictate terms. In my very simple understanding, I will only worry about Guru and Krishna. If Guru and Krishna are happy with me, even if the whole world criticizes me, I don't care. If Guru and Krishna are not happy, whole world is taking me on their shoulder and praising me, that praise is good for nothing. Then it makes it very easy for us. I have a very clear benchmark, for like Pole Star, we say. And what you are living for, whom are you living for? You can't satisfy so many materialistic demands of so many people around us.
Rajesh Bro, you can just like.
5 सितंबर को गुरु जी का दिवस मनाया गया था। सबने मतलब कुछ कुछ बोला था, मैं कुछ नहीं बोल पाया, लेकिन हमें जी ने मेरे को एक पॉइंट दिया, तो मैंने उस पॉइंट पे रामचरित मानस से मैंने अपने हैंडराइटिंग बना। नहीं कर पाया।
अच्छा. Prabhupada Vyas Puja.
Yeah.
Sadhu Samad.
Last Sunday, Prabhuji, we celebrated Prabhupada Vyas Puja.